Just wrapped up that main event. Devin Haney tonight becomes a 2-weight world champion. Please give us your immediate reaction.
I mean, I'm watching just a one-sided beatdown of, arguably the best champion at 140 against a guy coming up, I said earlier, generational talent, just a masterclass. The speed of foot, every time Regis committed, he'd get hit by 4 or 5 shots. He couldn't set his feet. He couldn't land hardly anything. And it was just like watching a masterclass. Every time he hurt Regis, he composed himself, he regained his shape, he went again, he pinged him again, and it was just, I can only imagine how frustrating that was for Regis Prograis. I just don't know who beats Devin Haney. At 135, it was brutal for him every time. And up at 140, this is a guy I believe can go to 147, maybe even 154. You see the size of him next to Regis Prograis, who's a big 140. And it was just an absolute masterclass. It was like watching Picasso just paint his, I don't know, art. It was incredible. It was the work of a genius.
Such a mature performance. I think people forget Devin Haney's still only 25 years old. To come out in front of his hometown fans for the first time as a professional, such a wise old head on young shoulders.
Yeah, and hardly broke sweat. You have to understand the work ethic of this, this young man. He's so fit. His team is very, very good. It's very big, but it's very, very good. The way that he conducts his business in and out of the ring, he absolutely cuts no corners. And you saw that tonight with just a performance, of great maturity, like you said, like the engine, the composure, everything. It was a performance well beyond his years.
In terms of next steps, you mentioned a few names in the ring. What do you see as being the next big fight for Devin?
Look, I think that, we got so many at 140 queuing up for a big shot. But at the same time, you've got, obviously, Ryan Garcia, who's on the same platform, should be looking for a shot at the world title, should be looking to fight a big fight against someone in his weight class. Why not? I think it's the obvious fight to make.
And in terms of the build-up and then seeing the respect at the end, great to see, but after all, this is what the sport's all about.
Yeah, because everybody talks a great game, and Regis tried, but he just couldn't. He couldn't make anything happen. He couldn't set his feet. He couldn't get in position to throw. He got more and more frustrated every time. He said, when he got dropped, he said he was on the floor thinking, where on earth did that come from? I think Devin was even much better than Regis could have ever imagined, and he gave it everything, but just wasn't good enough.
I know how much, Eddie, you've enjoyed working with Devin Haney again. Do you expect to be working with him again in that next fight?
Yeah, for sure. We've been together a long time. He had to go and do his thing to pick up those belts. And he's seen what we've delivered tonight with him and the team at Devin Haney Promotions, 16,000 at the Chase Centre. The show, the atmosphere, the stage for him, unbelievable. And, there's some huge fights to bring for him. He's going to be around for a long time.
Elsewhere on the card, but sticking with the 140-pound division. Big win tonight in the career of Liam Paro. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, don't forget this kid's been out of the ring for 2 years?
14 months.
Yeah, 14 months. It was the crowd over here. They're very impatient. It was 4 or 5 rounds of good fight. It was tactical, 2 southpaws, and then Liam just hit him with a beautiful uppercut. And I thought, from there was fantastic. The straight left hand down the middle, dropped him again, and then just didn't stop. Didn't stop unloading. Jack Reese, the referee made the warning and said, "Show me something." And Montana tried, but was just getting overwhelmed. It was a good stoppage and a real statement for Liam Paro. He's a guy. Don't forget, he was supposed to fight Regis Prograis for the world title until he got injured, and then Zorilla jumped in. Who knows how he would have done that night? And he'll be pressing us for a world title shot along with Jack Catterall, Richardson Hitchens, and all our other guys at 140.
I've seen you get excited in the ring before, Eddie, but where does your excitement sit representing a fighter like Andy Cruz right now?
I can't explain the feeling as a promoter to have a fighter that you would put in with anyone and be confident they win against anyone. Honestly, that's almost how I feel about Andy Cruz. Now, I know we can get excited and we can talk about guys at 135, Shakur, Tank, but I don't, as good as I think Shakur is and those guys, I think Andy Cruz can beat them now. He's had 2 fights. I've never seen anything like it. And let's not get carried away Burgos was the debut, Strathorn was that, but the way that he dismantled that strong, tough Mexican, and sometimes the question marks over Andy Cruz being of such a great amateur pedigree was perhaps he doesn't hit hard enough, perhaps he's not aggressive enough. But then he is tonight. He starts sitting down in shots. Bozienis has got him, punching with power, fighting on the inside, fighting long. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It's the shot selection. Just watch it carefully. The way he picks the body apart, brings the hands down, then he's just counter punching, and then he's fighting on the inside. He's forcing his opponent back. And we need to get him active. He's had I would have liked to see him fight a month or two earlier, but because this was such a big show, we wanted him on here, and I'd like to get him out in February and pick off another guy in the top 15. And then move towards 100% a world title shot in 2024.
I asked him about Keyshawn Davis. I showed him a little bit of the Instagram live from this seat, and he said, he's my son.
Yeah.
What do you like about that fight?
Yeah,
What did you say to Keyshawn?
I love Keyshawn Davis. I think he's a real good talent, I mean, no one's really talking about him, which is a shame because he's a really good fighter. But, I think... Hello? This
is the beauty of a one-take.
Yeah. So, I think that... Keyshawn's great, but Andy's on another level. We saw that in the amateurs, and it was it's an easy fight for Andy Cruz.
Ebony Bridges lost her world title tonight. What went wrong in your opinion from ringside?
I mean, she got beat by a better boxer, a better fighter. I thought it was a flat performance from Ebony. Let's not forget she's been out for a year. She had the hand operation. She came back. She's been messed around terribly with the opponent. It's not her fault. It's not anyone's fault. Avril Maffey pulled out. We tried to fight the mandatory. Then we took Yoshida. She should be beating people like Yoshida, who's a very good fighter. But, if you're going to go on and unify the division and become undisputed, you have to deal with people like that. So, she's had a rough few months and obviously a year out of the ring, and she'll have to rebuild and come again, which she'll do. I thought she showed great humility in defeat, which, how can you not be happy for Yoshida? Unbelievable scenes with her daughter in the ring, and big night for her and Japanese boxing, another world champion.
Overall then, Eddie, why has this been a whole experience, this show in San Francisco, Devin Haney's success, that you've enjoyed and it's been good for the company as well?
Because, you're talking about a new era for US boxing with a new star. We see Canelo filling stadiums and arenas. We've seen Ryan Garcia against another big name. You've seen Mayweather do it, but now you've got another young man in Devin Haney that comes to a new city that hasn't hosted boxing for 2 decades, fills it up, 16,000, and it was a big night for US boxing, and of course a massive night for Devin Haney.
And just finally, before you start the press conference, I know I'm sort of running this one myself and holding all the media up.
Yes, not really happening, to be honest with you.
I know, I'm milking it. Final one, we're rolling to a big one next week in Arizona.
Yeah, can't wait. Sonny against Bam, can't wait to get to Arizona. It's a great card as well, and that could be fight of the year, and then obviously off to Saudi for a huge show.
Great stuff, Ed.